Welcome. Today I'm visiting Ole. I mentioned my wonderful neighbors Ole and Kitte, who live next door, where I made the video Sunrise Singing. We saw the sun rising in Ole and Kitte's poplars, these tall trees. And I mentioned in a video that Ole has found some Stone Age tools, and I thought it would be really interesting to make a video about it and hear him tell us something about what he thinks they have been used for. And they have these. His family has lived here for 150 years, so it's people from his family who have found these, and he has also found one. So welcome, Ole.
Thank you very much. As Katrine says, we have lived on this farm about 150 years. It is a farm that's moved from a little town out in the country for about 1790. All the farms was together in a town. And then the government find out that we should move the farms out into the land. Before we had perhaps farmland 20 different places. Now we have the farmland around the farm. And they moved, took the farm down and moved it on the farmland. Took the poles and everything with. The only thing that couldn't take with it was the straw, but there was enough straw on the farmland, so all the buildings, also the stones, was things that they took with from the old farm. And then for about it's about 100 years ago now, my grand-grandfather, he took the old farm down and make a new farm, and on the outside on this farm here, it is with big handmade stones. It's big stones. They are about 500-600 kilo, and a man next to here, he could take the stones out into small pieces. When we go and look at the wall, we can do it after this thing here. We can see 3 or 4 big stones on this size, and we can see it's the same. It's the same stone, so we know that this has been a very big stone that they have divided into 3 or 4. And all the outside on the farm here is made of handmade stone. And the inside of the farm is made by bricks. It was at that time, more modern, and it was more. It looks better than for today.
More fancy.
Yes. They talk, but I think that the outside on the farm it's about over 200 meter long. But the first he made, it was a pig house, and then when they had a fort, they earned money to it. They had to make the stables, and then they lived about 14 years in a garage before they have afford to make this house here where we now are living, and it's about 100 years old. The house we are living in today. And the price to make such a house, it was just before the First World War. They could take, I have bills here that say, was it 5 cows and 2 or 3 horses. It was enough
to feed a family.
The price to make such a house.
Oh, okay. So if you
it costs about 3,500 crowns. All the handwork, the bricks and the doors, the windows, and in the office there is a specially handmade roof, painted, hand painted. It's very nice made. Today we cannot, even where the ground are staying, where the house is staying, we cannot build it for 3,500.
No.
It's but the price on a handwork at this time was 1-2 crowns.
Yeah, craftsman.
A
It
day.
was much cheaper then.
It was, and the wood to the roof. They go and went. They got it in the wood.
Yeah, the forest.
But it was stones we should talk about.
Yes. Show me the one that you found.
This one I have found. I'm a farmer and have been farmers since I was born, and also I'm born here on this farm. But I found it about 20 years ago. It's flint, and it is first it is cut out, and then it has polished, so it's quite smooth. I don't know how they have made it smooth, but it's fantastic, well made. There's a little corner here. It's
hold it down here.
Maybe it's it has spoiled when the men have used it. It's about 3, perhaps 4,000 years ago in the Stone Age in Denmark. The last man this have had in hand. And I can remember when I found this stone each spring when we sow, and then we have to go and take all the stones away, because all this will spoil the combiner. And all the other stones here are also found on the farm, not from me personally, but from my family. Here's a little one. Maybe it has been for a child. You can see small holes. It's not so polished as the other ones. This one is also just cut out.
It's not finished.
And it's not finished with, as smooth as some of the others. It has been this one is a little smooth, but it has been a fantastic work to make it smooth. I don't know how.
No. So first of all, they would have
first they cut it out. They have a stone. I don't know if it's flint or it's a granite. But first they made the rough stone, and then when they've done it, they maybe they do it on sand and this one.
So first they make the shape. First they make the shape of the stone. Of course, it's rough. Yeah. And then they make it. Then they make it more and more fine, so it becomes completely soft like this. Yeah. So that they could use it.
I don't know why they made it smooth and some are not smooth. Maybe the smooth one has been when they go on the festival to say how clever they are. Yeah. And maybe the other one are just used for working daily. I could suppose that when it's made, when they are lucky to have such one. And it's smooth. I don't think they use it every day. It has maybe just for festivals.
Or maybe for an offering in a grave. Maybe. Yeah. So this axe, it would have been made like this, and they would have used it to cut wood. So this would be the cutting.
Maybe
or what do you think?
It has not been used. Maybe used. I don't know.
No, but they would have. Don't you think they would?
No, as here they have a pole, and then they have some rope around, so you can.
So you can hammer with it.
So you can use it as an axe.
Yes. So they would have had a wooden handle that had been tied onto it.
Yes.
And these ones, would there have been a wooden handle on that also?
Yes, I'm sure all of them have been. If they have been used, they have been a wood handle.
Yes. And so this one that has the hole.
I don't know
really
why. Maybe they have had a rope through it, and so that they can carry it. So that there must be a history why. Just to make such a hole, it's not so easy.
No, and so beautiful.
Because it's difficult. Up here, normally it will crack.
Yes.
But if you, I don't know if they have iron. Maybe. I don't think they had iron before the Stone Age here.
But maybe this was late Stone Age. They were starting to have some iron.
Maybe you're right.
Yeah.
You can also see the shape here. It's
it's fantastic. So symmetrical.
Yeah.
Very, very intelligent people who have made these.
It's funny because the Stone Age people, they're just as clever as we are today. They are not more stupid than we are, and even they have gone 4,000 years, so we are not more clever than they are.
No.
This. Of course, we have got many new things, computers and technical things, but yes, the human brain are not being clever.
No, we've become more stupid.
Here we have also, just near to here, 500 meters, there was a lake, so I'm sure they have fish in the lake. It's a serpentine. I don't know what it is.
I don't know what that is called. But it's fossiled. It's a fossilized sea animal.
I think this one have been to the water. It has
been rolling.
Rolling. This one are not finished. It's maybe they were not satisfied with it, so they've thrown it away. This is also a little smooth one. Maybe it's a child that has this one.
Or maybe a woman for.
Maybe a woman. Maybe also.
Finer
maybe also for kitchen things.
Yeah.
But it's funny to see that some are very smooth and made finish, and some are just rough.
They probably had to practice a lot to learn it. So what is this funny little thing, do you think?
I don't,
is it just
yes, I don't know really what it is, or if it just have been in the water, and then it can be a machine that have spoiled this one, maybe.
So I'll just put the camera back here, and we'll just.
Well, maybe we should go and look at the farm to see how the big stones are.
Yeah, I'll just finish off this one. So thank you very much, Ole, for explaining this to us, and I think it's. I got to think about it when I was doing the last video, how amazing it is that we human beings are actually moving around on this earth, and often we don't respect the earth, and we don't realize how we're actually walking on history. That, as I told you, when we dug our pond, that there were fossils there were shark teeth, there was amber, there was corals. Not even fossilized, but real corals. So we're actually living on this history, and of course all these layers of soil are living, but there's so much story that we forget about, and the fact that people so many years ago were so intelligent and could live. They didn't pollute the earth like we do. They lived such a simple life, and they could use everything in nature so that they could live and they could flourish. So
I don't think they had stress in Stone Age because they had just 3 or 4 years, or 2 or 3 hours work each day to go and find a little fish, maybe hunt a deer, and then home and make, of course, sleep.
Make some children.
Make children, yeah. And of course their home was built yes, with very simple, but well, they have survived.
Yes, well, that's why we're here.
But they didn't be more than perhaps 20 years old, so maybe 30 years old. So we have been much older today.
Yes.
Maybe we should go and look at the big stone outside, and then we'll go and look how they cut it out. A stone like this size, I find 2 more just up to it, and it was this size, about this size, that they picked up, and they had a horse and take it home to build the outside of the farm, and then it is hacked in 3 or 4 pieces by hand. It's not complicated if you know how the stone. You should look at the stone, look at the structure. Then you can use hack it in your hand. If you don't know it, you can stay with a big hammer and nothing happens. But here on this in this area where we live, there are many. Also here, especially in Zealand, there are many farm buildings, especially for cows and pigs, made by stones. Now we'll go and look at the stone made by hand. The inside of the farm is made of the bricks. It was more fancy for about 100 years ago. And then in 14 years, where now a garage, the family lived 14 years there. And when they got the money, then they built the house here. And it cost not more than 3,500 crowns.
So that was like four cows and...
It's in pounds, yeah. It's about 350 pounds in English pound. The house are about 150 square meters.
So the stones they were building
with... And the stone we look here. Jeg vil se om vi kan finde nogle...
No.
Here we have all the farms, all the stones are fixed on the farm. It's about 50 acres, and we can see here first we saw a big stone, and then it's cut. These 3 stones here comes from one stone, and here we have one there, and one there, one stone. Then we will have one there. Here in the bottom is the big stones that are down here. We have
and the 2 red ones there, that one and that one. 2 red ones.
First they are cut, and then afterwards they are also put up by hand. I think they have some mechanic things to put it up. For last year I had some trouble. I made there was in a pig house I must rebuild, and it was a very big work to put those stone up. Det var nok det hele.
So thank you very much, Ole. Thank you very much for your time and telling us about this fantastic work that has been done here. Thank you.